You know me, guys. If you've been watching this channel before, you already know I love talking about Tesla. So we're just gonna talk about it again, guys. If you're new around here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, guys. I really appreciate it. Help support the channel, and really just trying to get to 100 subscribers by I'd say March. That's my goal. I want to be at 1,000 by the end of the year. So if I can get that, I'll be the happiest man on the planet. But if other than that, though, we're gonna get right into it because they're saying Tesla's investment thesis will really be tested this year. Oh, this year especially, yeah. Because Tesla is just this year is the craziest year for Tesla, and it's going to be real bad. So let's find out.
Journal and the author of the book Power Play, Tesla, Elon Musk, and the bet of the century. A little bit of a power play yourself just then, my friend. It's nice to see you.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
We were talking about the sort of valuations of these companies, but what I was going to ask you is, you've been covering Tesla for a very, very long time. And there's two ways to think about the valuation of the company. One is as a car company, and one is as a car company plus plus, or something else entirely. And I'm curious where you land these days.
Yeah, you're right. I think the market would like to value it as a tech company, betting on the idea that it's going to be more than just a car. It's going to be an autonomous robot taxi service. It's going to be an energy company. And the market's really been struggling in the last
I'll tell you right now. It will be. It will be.
Few weeks, as you've seen kind of the realities of moving metal in the storerooms. It's messy and it can be kind of expensive. And so I think in the last few weeks, you've seen some of that kind of excitement return to the idea that it's a tech company, but it's still a long road for the rest of the year. Heading into a potential recession could really test that thesis, I believe.
And where do you land when it comes to the pricing issue? I mean, the good news was they lowered prices. It seems to be moving vehicles. The question is, at some point, from a pricing perspective, can everybody else do that? Maybe they can't do that.
Well, in a lot of ways,
I'll tell you right now, they can't do it. Nobody's as profitable as Tesla is. They're the only company in this space that actually is making money. Like Ford, GM, Toyota, Nissan, you name it. None of them are making money on their EV market. So, yeah, of course they can keep lowering prices as low as they want to. They got the market by the balls, for lack of a better term. Like, just being honest here.
It's a classic automotive sector move. The issue here is that Tesla has so much margin that it can afford.
And look at that. Best-selling EVs, Tesla Y, Tesla 3, Tesla S. And you got the Chevy Bolt and a Mustang, which doesn't even equal the worst-selling, best-selling brand. You can add up all of them together. These two and these two. They don't even outsell the 3 or the Y, but never mind them put together. Tesla is just a clear winner in this space right now.
To do this, and investors traditionally here have been willing to see margins decrease, that pressure, and with the kind of seeing the growth in sales, they'd rather see market share gains or keeping that market share strong because Tesla is a growth story. Now, other automakers don't necessarily have that ability, and they're really in a bind as they try to come to this new technology into the marketplace. And they've been betting that the pricing would be what it was going to be, and now.
And look, the growth of them is just accelerating, guys. Like, look, like we're already taking off to 1.31 million last year. So Tesla's Elon's already come out and said he's expecting 2 million just in 2023. So I easily see this company putting out 5-10 million like a decade from now. 10 million cars, yeah. And like he said, is this just a car company, or are they're working on tech too? Like their battery storage technology is just the best in the game, guys. And they're constantly improving with their software. Every car is integrated with this top-down software that just improves every model. The more it's driven, so like it doesn't even matter about just raw deliveries and sales. There's other factors that weigh into it.
They're facing new pressures from Tesla.
I don't know if we can put a screen back up of the EV makers, because what we do, it's a very interesting thing. We show Tesla and we show it up against Rivian, Lordstown Motors, NIO, and Lucid Group. We don't show it against Ford or General Motors or the like. I don't know if that's, you think, the right way to look at this or the wrong way to look at it. I was curious how you're thinking these days about a Rivian, how you're thinking about these days about a Lucid, for example.
Yeah, I kind of think of them in the same ways that I thought about Tesla 2008, 2009. It's a real critical period. Cash is going to be king for these
keep in mind we were in a recession back then too. So he's talking about how they weren't profitable yet. They were just coming out of a recession, and Tesla actually survived that. So the real question is, can Rivian or Lucid survive during a massive recession too? And it seems like the worst of it is coming soon. I don't think it's going to last too much longer. I think by the end of the year, we'll be out of the worst of it. So
Smaller
keep that in
players,
mind, guys.
can they get through a downward cycle? That's going to be the big gamble. You know, people who look at the product that Rivian is doing have a lot of praise for it. They have a lot of praise for what Lucid is doing. The bigger question is, can they make it as a real car company? And if you look at Tesla as an example, that can be a very painful process from going from the rather cool idea of a car, cool product, to making a car at scale. Just ask Elon Musk and his sleeping on the factory floor for all those years. It's messy.
Yeah, it is.
My friend,
it's very hard to do. And it takes a lot of years where you're not really profitable. And that's why I'm thinking it's going to be another 5-6 years for any company can really compete with Tesla. They're just so far out ahead of it. All of this stuff going on in the EV market. Sorry, my dog's acting weird. And yeah, just Tesla's by far and away way out in front of everybody. So I'm going to bring up this other point of view. Tesla has always been an anomaly in the automotive industry. So
I think this quarter was nothing to look at. How are you analyzing it?
You know, Kelly, Tesla's always been an anomaly in the automotive industry, not because they just sell EVs, but also Elon Musk and the fandom that they have. And the most recent earnings, the positive kind of profits, even though they were lower on EVs, as well as the price cuts that they recently did, it put so much more pressure on traditional automakers like GM and Ford to not just make EVs, but make them profitably, which they are far from doing at this point.
That's a fair point too, because that's something I never hear anybody talk about. Is the fact that there's an actual brand loyalty around Tesla, and there's a cult of personality around Elon. And Henry Ford didn't have that. You know, current CEO of Ford and GM don't have that, and they just never really been interesting. Honestly, they're both really boring stocks. Like Tesla's not boring, and I think a lot of people are just gravitated to it just for that alone. So there's something to keep in mind. Like I think Tesla is going to be like a new Apple, and one day, like it's going to just be the brand you go to, and the rest are just competing for second place.
It's still, though, I mean, you know, we've had even the headlines yesterday where Musk might be trying to sell or to sort of pay down Twitter debt. How is he going to do that? Is there going to be a second? No, he says no. So then what does that mean for him selling Tesla shares? What do you think is sentiment around the stock after we've gotten through this quarter and the profit concerns that people had going into it?
You know, Tesla, they're always concerned about Elon. They're concerned about the company. But overall, at the end of the day, they're an automaker that does software extremely well. And we've been seeing the investors react to that right now. I mean, shares are trading in the double digits. The traditional automakers would be killing for that kind of quick hit and that type of.
You can see, actually, we said Tesla reports record revenues and EPS beat. Actually, let's take a look at that record revenue, right? Let's take a look at the earnings, little snapshot of it. Tesla reported a first quarter earnings for I have a hard time saying that for some reason. We're just going to keep going though. Fourth quarter earnings for 2022, including revenue of $24.32 billion, earnings per share of 1.19. So if you remember, I gave my target a couple of weeks ago of 1.18. So they actually got it. They actually got to it. They just barely beat over it, but they got it. And I had a very bullish target, I'll admit. Automotive revenue amounted to $21.3 billion in the 3 months ending 2022, and included $324 million of deferred revenue related to the company's driver assistance systems. Automotive gross margins came in at 25.9%, lowest figure in the last 5 quarters. So let's be real here. I've said it in my last one too. Tesla's really struggling, guys. They're really getting pressure on the margins. Sure, they're still profitable, no doubt about it. Gross margins came in at 25. They're still very profitable, but they're not going to be as profitable as they once was in, say, 2020, 2021, because people are going to be not buying as many EVs, as it turns out. And if people aren't buying as many EVs, they have to lower the prices to try to keep demand up, and that's exactly what they're doing. And they're actually seeing a surge in demand from lowering the prices. So they are effectively waging a price war on a lot of these other companies.
When they hit a profit like that, or when they beat But right now, Tesla still is pretty much in a league of its own when it comes to kind of investors as well as EVs in general. We keep talking about EVs coming, EVs coming, EVs coming. But at the end of the day, Tesla sells more EVs than anyone in the US. That's kind of coming down a little bit, but they are still the leader outright.
And I'll tell you, when you drive around in this market in the Northeast, you see so many Teslas. You'd be hard pressed to find another brand that is as highly represented as Tesla is. But speaking of another brand that is very highly represented everywhere, and that is Toyota, its CEO, Akio Toyoda, has stepped down to be replaced by the person who had been heading up Lexus. What does this mean for the company and its shares, if you can discern?
Tyler, I woke up this morning and I saw that Akio was stepping down. It was a very big surprise. I think it was a lot of surprise for many externally. Akio is 66 though, and he was working with the chairman who is in his mid 70s, and it was kind of decided that it was time. And Akio and Toyota have been facing more criticism.
It's just a larger trend that's just continuing. I feel like out with the old, in with the new. So, shout out to you, Akio Toyoda. You did a good job running Toyota company. No ill will, none at all.
Because of electric vehicles, and last year, and the success of Tesla, and Toyota kind of being not investing in EVs as rapidly as others. And this is going to be an interesting transition. Akio still will be chairman. His name is on the company. He's a namesake. His grandfather started the company. But it should be interesting to see what the new CEO does, who was leading a lot of their electrification efforts with Lexus, how much they change the plan, or if they even accelerate that EV plan, or what they do. They have really been pushing for hybrids.
Yeah, no, they've been pushing hybrids and plug-in hybrids on their Toyota brand. If I had to judge just as an amateur observer, it would be that Lexus is ahead of Toyota in terms of EVs. I mean, they have more product or a more prominent product, I would say, in that space.
You know, I wouldn't even go that. Lexus is just such a small brand at this point, but by 2030, they do want to make Lexus completely all electric. And that's why the decision for the new CEO.
And let's keep this point in the conversation too, guys, because I never hear this talked about either. We wouldn't even be talking about all these companies trying to make their own EVs if it wasn't for Tesla. Like, Tesla had to come in and just really change the game for everything. We'd still be talking about how they're like just rolling out the same old gas-powered cars over and over and over. They wouldn't be really making no push for it unless Tesla was putting the pressure on them. Let's be real about that. Like, they're actually these companies are scared of Tesla, and for good reason. They should be. They ought to be, because they're really about to get displaced. I feel like they waited too long, pushed the EV thing down the road too long. Tesla came in and said, "All right, we'll pick up the ball. We'll take our shot," and they hit it. They nailed it. And all these other companies are just playing catch up now. They're just trying to outrun Usain Bolt, it looks like. And it's not happening when he's got a 50-yard head start. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave the video here, guys. Just wanted to come in and a 13-minute video, guys. Wow. A little longer than my usual. But if you really enjoyed the video, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me. I post regular content. And I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out.